Alright, hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Shannon and I am filming on July 1st. It's been 2 weeks since I last filmed and I have 2 finished objects, 1 half finished object, 4 works in progress, and have acquired a lot more yarn than I intended, so I'm going to jump right on in. My first finished project is a pair of socks. These are using yarn from Nicole Mendez. It's a self-striping in the color Flamingo. It's on the soft sock base, so that's 80% virgin wool and 90% nylon. So these were just a very simple vanilla sock pattern. I did 1x1 rib, knit through the stripe pattern until I got to time to do the heel, did a mini heel flap, German short row, and then just kind of went until I did a rounded toe. There's nothing really exciting about the pattern itself. The yarn is very, very squishy. It's not like thicker, but somehow it is. I've been really excited about having these socks finished, and as it is summer sock camp with the crazy sock lady, it was fun to have something I was working on with everyone else. It's definitely got me wanting to do a whole bunch of socks, but of course I want to do a whole bunch of everything, so I have to pace myself. So these are my first finished object. My next finished object, let me see if I have all of my little labels so that I remember all the color names. This is, So this is the Tubucake shawl from Expression Fiber Arts. The main yarn here for all the hexagons is from FanGirl Fibers. This was from Star Wars, A Woman's Place is in the Resistance specialty set that was released for May the 4th. So right up here we have the color Leia. Right here we have Rey, Padme, Ahsoka, and Jin. And then the border, I had used a different brand yarn. When I first started it, I kind of forgot that this pattern required 6 colors, and I was so excited that my Star Wars would fit into the 5 colors that I just forgot the border. So I grabbed from my stash, I got from Muse 2320. This is their Sandpiper sock base. So it's a BFL Donegal. Tweed yarn. This one is the color Stockholm. So the pattern had a very specific lace that you could do on the outside, and there were YouTube tutorials for how to make the hexagons, how to sew the hexagons together, but not for how to do the lace, and I'm not really good at lace, so when I was reading through the instructions, I had no idea what was going on. So instead, I just kind of adapted it to have 2 rows of single crochet, a round of double crochet, then 2 more rounds of single crochet, so that it was just enough to really feel done. I mean, the corners are kind of rounded. My goal was just to have it look finished with the border, not necessarily anything specific. Ooh, I missed a thread. Sorry. There were a lot of ends to weave in on the back, and somehow I missed snipping one. So yeah, this is Tubucake. I really did enjoy making the hexagons. I don't really enjoy seaming crochet together or knitting together. I know quite a few people I have seen, maybe it's just a couple of people I've seen a lot, but will use their sewing machine to sew together knit and crocheted squares, but I've never done that. I'm not sure if I'd like it. It does seem a lot faster, but I don't know. I do still think that it would be a cute, scrappy one with just a whole bunch of different hexagons on it, but I don't think I'm quite ready to make that commitment yet. So yeah, those are my 2 finished projects. They certainly took a little while to make, but not necessarily to show. Now let me pull this basket a little closer. This one is my half-finished object. This bag is from Barley and Pearls. I like the cute little pink bag with the bats on it. So this was also from FanGirl Fibers Star Wars collection from this year. This one was the sock set for episode 4, A New Hope. Oops, sorry, I'm just holding it all over the place. So the yarn itself was a 100 gram, I'm caught on my needle, sorry. The 100 gram, so it's a kind of a goldy yellow. It has bits of purple and flecks of white, and then it came with 2 20-gram mini skeins. They don't all have an individual color listed. It's just the A New Hope sock set. So one was this nice deep, it looks a little bit black on there, but it's a deep, deep purple. And then this light gray. And I had been watching Nitty Natty do her socks up to get ready for her sock week. And one of hers, she did a shorty sock with little lines on the toe. And I thought with this one, since I had 2 colors, I would do some up at the heel, or at the cuff, and then some down by the toe. So I'm not 100% sure I like how they turned out. I have other ideas for if I do this again. But I started with the purple cuff, then did 3 rows of the yellow, 3 rows of purple, 2, 2, 1, 1, then did all the way with the yellow. Just a vanilla sock with a heel flap and gusset. Got down to the toe, and then I did 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then a gray toe. And I like the way the stripe went. I think it might have been fun if I'd kind of had them fade into each other. So like 1 yellow, 3 purple, 2, 2, 1, 3. So that the purple goes 3, 2, 1, and the yellow goes 1, 2, 3. It makes sense in my mind. I'm not sure if I'm describing it well. Either way, I just have the 1 sock, and I was saving the 2nd sock from this to do during sock week, which I believe starts July 9th. So I'm happy to have the 1st sock done, but of course now I have this week to sit here and wait before I can start the 2nd sock. I have other things to work on, but I normally do my socks in tandem, so having to sit here and wait is definitely different. I have also considered for the 2nd sock whether or not I want to make them match or do them contrasting, and for the 2nd sock do gray at the top and purple at the toe. I mean, I have a full week to decide, so there's no real rush on that. But that is why this is my half-finished project, because I have 1 sock. It's a finished sock, but it's 1 sock. So you will see this again, but not until after sock week. Alright, so I think I may have counted this as one of my works in progress, because I believe I said 4. But I'm counting 3 bags around me. We'll have to see if another one magically appears. So the next work in progress I have. We will stick with our sock theme in my pretty bee bag. This one is by MLD Threads. I got it on Etsy. Just a nice summery one. And these are my Doctor Who themed socks using the pattern Love Story from the Crazy Sock Lady. The yarn is from Twisted Yarns on their Sparkle Sock Base. And it is in the colors Time Traveler Blue and Temporal Vortex. So, this is how far I am on the first sock. So when I showed them to you before, I was up at this little TARDIS stitch marker. And I have made quite a bit of progress. I'm now working on the foot. I'm pretty sure I finished doing the gusset. I'll have to double count my stitches to be sure. It's definitely going both faster and slower than I thought it would. I don't do a lot of socks with like a very specific stitch pattern. And this part went quick. And then I had some changes in my schedule with summer travel and things like that. And so going through the heel and onto the foot has been a little slower. But I feel like I'm moving pretty quickly through them. I don't have a lot of anything exciting to say other than I love how they're turning out. I did consider making them shorter than the pattern suggested, and then I just decided why not. I don't usually make a lot of tall socks. Why not just keep going? I'm hoping to finish this sock soon so that I can zoom right into the second one. I have been really wanting to make socks lately, and I have been having fun because I don't normally do on Magic Loop. So that has been fun to kind of play with. But I'm a little afraid that once I finish this sock, if I don't hurry up and finish it and get the next one started, I will lose steam. As I've said before, I usually knit in tandem, so 2 socks going at a time. I'm not doing that this time, so I'm definitely a little worried about how I'm going to feel when I finish the first sock and have to start all over. So this is the Time Traveler Blue, and this is the Temporal Vortex. So it's got whites, grays, a bit of that blue, a little bit of pink, and some of the purple, which may just, I don't know if it's its own purple or if it's from the mixing of the pink and the blue. But yeah, these are my Love Story socks. And then my next work in progress, this is in a bag from Bags by Awesome Grannies. It is my Coffee Gnomes bag. And I just like coffee and gnomes, so nothing, no real exciting reason there. I do not have the label here for this one. What did I do with it? Ah, here it is. So this is yarn from Evergreen Yarn Studio in the color Galaxy. This is their Summit sock base, so it's extra fine superwash merino and nylon. So I think I've mentioned it before. This, my label says Galaxy, but I have since seen in their Etsy shop, they have the color Galaxy and Dark Galaxy. Galaxy has a lot of white in it, and I think what I got was Dark Galaxy, but I'm wondering if Dark Galaxy was a new color after I ordered. I do really like it. I'm not like mad about it, but if you are ordering and you're looking for the color Galaxy, double check that you do not actually want Dark Galaxy. So this is the Mussleburgh Hat by Ysolda Teague. It's the first one I've ever made. I wasn't sure how I'd like it because it's a lot of stockinette in the round, but that's actually been very, very comforting. This morning I just sat out drinking my coffee and watching podcasts, and there was absolutely nothing I needed to think about because I knit the crown, and I've got this little marker to where the end of the crown is, and then my plan, so I weighed about how much yarn I used on the crown. I've got my little cushion, and my plan is just to knit until I hit the cushion of yarn here, and then I will do the other crown, and I mean, it'll probably be slouchy with some fold over, but I have a lot of hair, so I want to make sure it's big enough. When I last showed it, I was right here at this tiny little Darth Vader stitch marker. And then I also have Darth Vader stitch stoppers. They both came with my Star Wars stuff from FanGirl Fibers this year. And they just kind of seem to fit the Dark Galaxy vibe. So I'm not sure how well it's going to turn out just because. So you can see I've got kind of like, once we got to the crown here, there's always that little bit of striping that comes from hand-dyed yarns like this. And it looks like, as I'm hitting the middle, the pooling is changing a little bit. I'm not doing any sort of helical knitting or anything. I'm just going for it, and I don't mind if it pools however it goes. I'm just kind of along for the ride. It's just more of one of those where I noticed it was pooling a little bit differently. So I'm definitely curious to see if it'll stay with this new pooling, because all of this different pattern from here on down, it's all the same stitch count, no different, just keep going around. I mean, I suppose there could be some differences in my tension, but if there are, like, I can't tell, but it doesn't mean they're not there. So I'm definitely curious to see if it keeps up with the little pattern, stays with the big one. I'm kind of hoping it does a little bit of both, just because it's Galaxy. I want it to be kind of all over the place. So I have one more work in progress. I don't think I showed this last week because I had made no progress on it then. This is my Advertence shawl from Expression Fiber Arts. I have been using yarn from So Happy Jane in her hand-dyed Happy Yarn Club. And I am behind by a bit. So the colors I am using this time are it's kind of a peachy pink and this nice deep purple. And I will have some more to say about my colors for this in a little while. But I have actually started, let's see, we're now July 1st, so this is May I was working on. So I know I've gone through this a few times. It's going to be too big to show on here pretty soon. So that pale blue at the bottom is January. Then the next color section is February. When I switch to the green, that would be March. Once I introduce the peachy, that would be April, and I am just now hitting May. So as you can see, I'm definitely like a solid month behind still. But I just kind of hit a point where I honestly think I was a little bit hesitant with the purple. I've been just kind of going with whatever colors came in my Hand-Dyed Happy subscription box and just going for it. But I just think my brain wasn't as sure about how the purple would go into it. And I really do like I think that's some of the best contrast I have in most of this. So I think I'm going to have to go with it and just accept the process. But now that I have it going, I'm happy with it. And this section for May has, I believe it was 90 rows. I did the first 30. So I'm kind of hoping I can just do it in chunks of 30 where, you know, this is a long weekend, so maybe I can get 2 chunks. But last weekend I did 30. I'd like to get at least 30 this weekend and slowly just keep trying to catch up, because very soon July's pattern bit is going to be out. And then I'll have 3 months worth of pattern pieces to go. And I really don't want to keep falling behind, because I worry that if I fall too far behind, I will just decide it's too much and I can't do it. So those are all of my finished objects, half-finished objects, and works in progress. So now we get to get into the, for lack of a better term, haul section of this, because I have quite a bit. All right. So I have adjusted what's around me, and we are ready to get into what I got. We will stick to the So Happy Jane to start. So this is my hand-dyed Happy Yarn Club from, I believe this is July's box. I think you get it a little bit before the month it's for. This month's theme was, I was gonna say, I can't remember exactly how it was phrased. Seashell. There we go. It was one of those where it's like, it's not quite beach, but it's very beachy. Sorry, I got distracted by all the papers again. So yes, this one was a seashell themed box. And here were my yarns. I'm definitely in love with these colors. You've probably noticed I definitely do tend to go for a lot of blues, and these two, like, I love this bluish gray. I love the whole thing. It definitely makes me think of the beach. She has captured it wonderfully. The little extras I got this month were a couple of seashell stitch markers. So I have a little green shell. I know there's no way it's going to focus on these. But it's a little green shell and a starfish and a Ocean Breeze soy wax candle from CMS Supply. And I mean, I know you can't smell it, but it smells really good. So I have been saving this so that I can show it, and now I'm really excited because I can burn it and pretend I am at the beach. So as I mentioned before, I was just using whatever came in and picking one of my two skeins and putting it in my Advertence. But in the last 2 months, she has switched from her happy base to her joyful base for the club. And I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to use the extra fine superwash merino with the fine superwash merino. Like, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a difference, but you can feel the difference when you hold it. And I think, even though the colors are beautiful, I think I'm going to plan these for something else, and probably after my purple, start putting them in a little bit more intentionally. And I think part of that was also because of my hesitation to keep working once I had selected the purple, because I loved the shade of purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors. I really do like cool tones. But for whatever reason, putting the purple in with all the blues and the pink and the green, like, it just suddenly seemed like, am I even making something I like? Which is telling me that I am not enjoying the randomness part. I am enjoying the shawl, I am enjoying the colors, but I am not enjoying the lack of control over it. So I think I'm just going to go back into the stash of my other hand-dyed Happy and be just a little bit more intentional, make sure I like the colors that are coming up, especially since I'm currently working with a dark purple, and the next color I had scheduled was actually like this dark green, which means I'm going to go back to a low contrast. There'll be two dark colors. I won't really be seeing the pattern emerging anymore. It makes sense to just pull something else out of my stash within the same base and keep going. So that was just a random offshoot based on the yarn that I got, but that was my So Happy Jane beach themed yarn. Yeah, that one made me very, very happy. I was very excited about it. The next one is a little bit less exciting. It is just one Karen Latte Cake in the color Lemon Sponge. So I do like these fuzzy latte cakes. They're very, very squishy. It is a 58% acrylic, 42% nylon. If you've never seen one of the latte cakes, they're not quite fuzzy. Like, it's, you almost want to say like lightly hairy, but they're a nice soft yarn. And what I actually usually use this for is I have a small, I think it's the Addy Express, and this makes really great soft tube socks on the Addy Express. I usually combine it with another yarn, but it just makes the softest, coziest socks, super quick. And my mom happens to love the color yellow, so when I saw this, it was like, okay, you're coming home with me, and my mom is getting a pair of socks. So yeah, this will not stay in stash for very long. I just haven't spun those up on the Addy yet. So, running out of space already. So, the next yarn that I got in is from Expression Fiber Arts. So I actually got 4 of these in. This is the Luster Sport base, so it's 50% superwash merino wool, 50% lyocell, and it is in the color Silvery Seas. So I got 4 of these with the plan of making a shirt from Expression Fiber Arts. This is technically a sport weight, and I realized I accidentally ordered a sport weight when I needed a fingering weight. I've already caked up the 4th one so that I could do a tiny little swatch just to kind of see if I thought it would work. But I have not started the shirt yet. I've actually kind of gotten a little bit distracted. I still really, really want to do the shirt, and I'm very excited about it. But we'll get to the shiny object that's starting to take some of my attention in a moment. With that one, it is actually, let's see. Yes, Expression Fiber Arts' 12th birthday. It was weirdly 2 different companies' birthday celebration in this past little while. And so, if you spent a certain amount of money, which I happen to be doing, you were able to select a free gift. So I got a free little mermaid tail-shaped crystal, some little sea glass looking beads, and a set of highlighters, which these will be very useful soon. And I've had to hide the mermaid tail-shaped crystal from my daughter because mermaids, shiny rocks, color purple, perfect storm for my child. So I've had to hide it so she couldn't take it from me yet. I'm not really sure what I will do with the beads yet, but I do have that lovely seashell themed yarn from from So Happy Jane. This is from Expression Fiber Arts. So they may be combining at some point here. We'll see. But yeah, that was the yarn from Expression Fiber Arts. Trying to decide which one to go with next. So the next one I think I'll go with, so the other company that had a birthday is Furls Fiber Arts, had their 11th birthday. So they had a large site-wide sale. I could have gone much more crazy than I did. But I did get their birthday hook. I got in the size K, and it's just this lovely turquoise glitter. I don't use the size K as often as some others, but I also don't want all of my crochet hooks to be the same size, and then I need something and I can't find it. So I did select the size K just because I thought I needed one, and I do. And then I also got 2 packs, this is going to be a little crinkly, so I'm sorry, of the Whims Merino V-Twist yarn. So this is some yarn, I had heard rumors they were discontinuing it. I'm not sure if they are or not, but they do seem to have limited quantities of colors. And since these have been on sale for about 50% off. So this pack of 10, each of them, it's a number 4 medium, 50% superwash merino, 50% nylon. And each of these balls is 100 grams. Normally these packs are, I want to say $100. They've been $50 for a little while. And then there was a 30% off sale for their birthday. So it's a sweater's quantity worth of yarn. If you crochet and you've never used Z-Twist yarn, I'm not 100% sure I can tell the difference. I know some people are very passionate about the Z-Twist versus the S-Twist for crochet, but it is still a very soft and squishy yarn. So this one is the color periwinkle. And then I have another pack. This is the color blue. This was not exactly the shade I thought I was getting. But this one, I got their DK and their worsted. DK worsted. This one's a number 4 and this one's a number 3. So yeah, I was able to get 2 sweaters quantity worth of yarn that is really good for crochet, and I'll probably do some simple cardigans with them as soon as I can get all the other shiny, exciting projects out of the way. So it may be a minute before you see these because there's other things that my brain is just excited about so many projects right now. And I don't have quite enough time to do all of them as well as keep up with my regular life. So I need to work on that. Alright, I have more yarn. So, not done yet. I did get 2 in today, and then I will get into this basket full of yarn because that is what I'm weirdly excited about. So this one is from the Muse 2320 Troop 2320 subscription. It is based off of places along the Mississippi River. So this is based on the Chain of Rocks Bridge. I feel like in the picture both that she shared on her Instagram and in what I'm seeing on the camera here, I don't really feel like this little mini skein is true to color. It looks very, very gray to me on camera, but it's actually like gray and a nice pale mint. This one, maybe a little more brown in person. Yeah, it's gorgeous sock set. I actually have not worked through any of my Troop 2320 yet. Maybe they'll all end up in one project if I keep holding on to them. I'm excited by so many shiny objects that I never get around to everything. So that is for the month of June, I believe. Yes, June. I can never remember if they ship out early or late. And then this one was just an order from Etsy. It shouldn't have been, but it was. This is from Cashmere and I can't read my label. Cashmere and Coconut, sorry. And this is the color Pink Lemonade. So it's definitely looking a little bit more orangey on screen. It's definitely a yellow. I know they have at least one other color that I really, really want, but I'm trying to be reasonable. And the other set is, it's based off of oranges. I can't remember the exact color, but it's a bright orange with a green mini skein. I don't even usually like the color orange. I don't know why I want that one so much. But with the yellow and pink, I usually like those a little bit more. So those just came in today, about 15 minutes before I started filming. So both of these will eventually be socks. Usually if it's a sock set, it will end up in socks. If it's not a sock set, now apparently it might turn into a hat. That's a little more new. But I don't have a specific pattern plan for either of them yet. They're just pretty. And I feel like a lot of us can relate to shiny objects when it comes to yarn. So this basket of yarn it's a lot. So I've vaguely mentioned before, just kind of in passing frequently, that I am back in school. I'm working on completing a certification, so I have been completing my classes. I have been working on collecting fieldwork hours, and upcoming I'm going to have a big test to complete my certification. It has been very stressful, and I am constantly studying while I'm doing things. And quite bluntly, you start to lose steam on some of that. And I kept trying to think of a way, like, what can I be working towards? Like, you know, you think of, like, little kids who are doing chores around the house to earn money. And it was like, well, I mean, I guess I could put in, like, $1 in a jar towards yarn or something for what I'm studying, but it seemed kind of silly because like I have yarn. I needed something that was exciting, and I mean, if it was like a big special collection, well, I may not be able to earn enough from studying in order to order it, so then I'm ordering it, and even if I don't earn it, I'm the only one in my house that would use it, and it just seemed like I was having a hard time coming up with a really great reward system for it. And then just kind of chatting with my daughter last weekend, and I just told her, yeah, I'm running out of steam. I really need a good reward system, and it suddenly clicked. A temperature blanket, but not. So most people have heard of a temperature blanket if they are within knitting or crochet for very long. It is typically done from like January to December of whatever year you're in. You make a range of temperatures and you do a row for every day for the temperature. I am doing a take on that will be a data blanket based on my study quizzes. So there's several different ways that I'm going through this, and some of it involves just doing quizzes over and over and over to reach mastery on things. And potentially we're looking at 400 to 500 quizzes before I'm done. I have my percentages already kept on my old ones, so I'm already like 100 and something quizzes through, and it just suddenly clicked that how beautiful would it be to have it start out with these are the percentages I'm getting as I go through everything, and then all the way through, hopefully going from, you know, lower scores to a lot of like 100% because I'm doing so good. And somehow in my mind, this is just the most beautiful thing, and naturally I have to keep studying to keep adding to the blanket, so I can't finish it if I don't study and pass my tests. So I have a lot of yarn. So this is Cascade Yarns Heritage. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I have a lot of colors. I ordered these from Paradise Fibers because this is going to be kind of a special blanket. I didn't want like Red Heart or something, but I also didn't want just hand dyed. Both for like the Red Heart from Joann's would be cost effective, but it's not the best quality yarn. Hand dyed would definitely be very expensive, but amazing yarn. But I also knew that if I needed another skein of one of these, it needed to be accessible enough that it could work. Like, theoretically they won't have to match 100% because they will be going in, but they do need to match enough that you could kind of tell what the percentage is. So I have 3 different kinds of tests that are going to be going into this blanket. 3 different palettes. This is one of the palettes, and I actually am missing a yarn. I had all my yarn colors picked out and then somehow missed one when ordering it. So yeah, hopefully you will start seeing some of the data go in. Now that I have my yarn in and I've shared it a little bit, I've done a little bit of planning for this one. There's just so many colors to show. One set of tests is going to have a blue palette, another a neutral palette, and then the third is going to have kind of a green palette because I wanted all of them to go well together, but to be distinctive as well. So I had a few different ideas. I kind of wanted to do crochet because crochet would be a little bit faster, which I feel like if I get too far behind on this, then it'll lose its exciting momentum, and it won't be something that keeps me studying to keep adding to it. It'll be something where it's like, it doesn't matter if I study or not because I'm like 300 tests behind. So I wanted crochet for that reason, but I didn't quite know how to do it. So I grabbed some scrap yarn. My first thought was granny stripe, because I really do want to do a granny stripe, and I'd been thinking of doing one as a scrap blanket using some of my old fingering weight sock yarns, and just looking at that, I think it's gonna have to happen. Not right away, but it did not take me very long to realize that it would be way too big. Just a quick calculation with how big each of these little cluster heights are. My blanket would be like 20 feet long. So that was a no. And then I did just a quick half double crochet section, a single crochet section, and a Tunisian crochet section. So I could kind of get an idea of how long each of them would be. And I'm kind of leaning towards the single crochet. I know that that will definitely be a little bit boring and monotonous, but it will make the amount of rows I can get to 1 inch will mean that the blanket will not have to be excessively long. But, because I did consider with the Tunisian crochet, like, one row is going that way, the other row is going back. So that each row is actually 2 tests. And I think that, I mean, like, I don't know how well you'll be able to see way up there at the top. But it does look very, very cool when you have the different color coming underneath it. But that is also going to be a larger time commitment. Every row I do, I will have to plan on doing 2 tests for. And that just seemed like that was not going to easily work. So I'm leaning towards the single crochet. And I'm just kind of hanging on to this partially because it's cool to have a bunch of them. It's just, again, some leftover yarn. But it's also just, it does make me excited about the other possibilities of things I can do. So my little, I don't know, it's not entirely a gauge swatch. My little tester square is here, it is ready, and it is just going to be a little bit of inspiration. So yeah, that is going to be my upcoming data blanket. I'm very excited about it, if you can't tell by how long I rambled there. Alright, so my camera has limited recording ability at a time, so I really just kind of had to sneak right back on after that long ramble about a data blanket. Ooh. Very long ramble. That's about all of the yarn content I have. I mean, I've been working hard on all of the projects I've been working on, but as you can kind of tell from the kinds of things that I've been picking up and showing, I have that, I don't want to say like inspired to do something feeling. It feels more of like a, I want to do everything, and therefore I also want to do nothing because I can't do everything. So I'm trying to kind of push myself to work a little bit on some of the longer term projects. My other year-long blanket is in a little bit of a timeout because it has not been behaving. And then I have other things, like I've been really enjoying summer sock camp, and I'm trying to push myself through those patterned socks. I have a week to wait until I can start the other sock for sock week. So I kind of want to start on another one, but then I also have this big blanket I want to start on and a shirt I want to do. And I have a couple of big projects that I kind of semi-committed to for Christmas presents, and if I wait too long, I will lose all inspiration to do those. So, I mean, really, I have no idea what you're going to see coming up off my needles in the next few weeks. I'm hoping to keep working on the ones that I have been working away on. I'm hoping that this data blanket will really get started, and obviously I'm hoping it's going to look as amazing as it does in my mind, because in my mind it's going to be this special project showing my brilliance to this certification. It could be not, you never know. And I mean, if I don't get my certification when I plan on, then the blanket may end up being a very long road to sadness. We're really hoping not on that one. But yeah, I also have scrappy projects, and I'm actually somewhat planning on doing a little bit of sewing this weekend. I kind of want to make some new project bags, partially because I have new projects. And it's whenever it's sunny, I kind of have a desire to make myself some new tops. So, I mean, I feel like the sunshine is really here and it's bringing the inspiration, but not the focus. So, that might explain a little bit of the ramble. I think I need to stop myself from rambling and sign off. And I am planning on trying to film a bonus episode this weekend since I have a little bit of extra time, but we'll see where the muse takes me. Until we see each other again, have a very happy making.